Okay, was that enough chocolate chips? I feel like we need more. That feels better. Oh, hey there. If you don't make a mess, you're doing it wrong. I'm obsessed. Incredible. I know. I love you too. Hello guys, and welcome to Sweet Tooth, the baking series where we make some of the best desserts that I could come up with in my head. But except this dessert is a dessert from my childhood. It's my mom's cinnamon chocolate chip coffee cake. I made a few changes to it throughout the years just to make it even more incredible, but the flavors stay true to my mom's original version, and I absolutely love that. Ingredient rundown. We have all-purpose flour, some sour cream, vanilla extract, brown and white sugars, baking soda, baking powder and salt, eggs, cinnamon, chocolate chip, and more brown sugar for a little bit of a cinnamon swirl situation. Right here, what I have is a bundt pan. This is an aluminized steel bundt pan. It is a heavier steel bundt pan, but then it's coated with aluminum, which is really good for conductivity. I absolutely love aluminized steel. It does have like a good amount of a nonstick coating on here. It's just like a nice sort of slightly shiny coating, but we wanna make sure that when we flip our bundt over at the very end of all of this and we pull it up, we don't want anything to stick to the actual pan. So we are going to do some coating to make sure that our bundt releases from the pan perfectly. So what I have here is melted butter. You're just gonna paint that butter all over that pan. Don't forget the middle. That looks amazing. Great. Okay, so now that we have our butter in our pan, then we are going to take flour, put it into your pan, and then you're gonna do a little tambourine shake, and the goal is to get just a really thin coating of flour. And basically, if you don't make a mess, you're doing it wrong. That looks perfect. Look at that. Okay. Contrary to popular opinion, coffee cake is not made with coffee. It's cake that's meant to be eaten with coffee. And you definitely can have a coffee flavored coffee cake, but most coffee cakes are just gonna be a dense sour cream cake. So we're gonna start off with 1.5 sticks of butter, 3/4 of a cup, and then we are going to add in a 1/2 cup of light brown sugar, and then a 1/2 cup of white sugar. This we are going to mix until it becomes light and fluffy. Amazing. Okay, now to this, we are going to add in 3 eggs. I find that putting in eggs one at a time is just a good practice in making it so your batter comes together really nicely. 2 and 3. And you know what I'm gonna do with this 3rd egg? I'm also going to put in our vanilla extract. We're doing a tablespoon of vanilla. Now I'm going to put in our dry ingredients, so our flour, our baking soda, our baking powder, and our salt. And because we're switching to dry ingredients, I'm going to move from using my hand mixer to using a spatula, because it's gonna make it so you're not over mixing your dough. So we're gonna put in 1/2 of this flour, and then I'm going to put in 2 teaspoons of baking powder, 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda, and a teaspoon of salt. And then because we're not sifting our ingredients, I'm just gonna give everything a little toss together so it gets nice and even. It doesn't need to be fully combined. We are just doing this until most of those dry bits of flour go away. You know what? I feel like adding more vanilla extract. Let's just do that because it's fun. That looks pretty good. Okay, now we're going to add in 1 cup of sour cream. I am using a full fat sour cream. You can also use a low fat sour cream. You can also use Greek yogurt. Anything that has this sort of consistency of yogurt is going to work. The one thing to note is if you're going to use Greek yogurt, it does have a lower fat content than like a full fat sour cream. Your baked good could just be the like ever so slightest bit less buttery and soft and delicious, but it will still totally work. Oh! And now we're gonna finish off with the rest of our flour. This is 2.5 cups of flour. And then we're gonna add in our chocolate chips. See how this has a lot of like dry flour still in it? I'm going to add in the chocolate chips at this point in time because I kind of want the flour to coat the chocolate chips ever so slightly so that they don't all sink to the bottom. Was that enough chocolate chips? I feel like we need more. That feels better. So I'm just gonna try to coat a little bit of the flour with those chips. You do this oftentimes when you're baking with muffins. It's really helpful to have like your blueberries be tossed in a tablespoon of flour before you mix everything together so that they don't fall to the bottom. And that's the reason why. Before I put this into my bundt pan, I'm just gonna prepare my brown sugar cinnamon swirl. So this is 2 tablespoons of cinnamon going into, I don't know, like 2/3 a cup of brown sugar. Whatever it says on the recipe, do that. And I'm just gonna toss these together with my fingies. And now we're going to put this all together. So I'm going to take about half of my dough batter, and it's a pretty thick dough. And I'm gonna put it into my bundt pan. And then I'm gonna take my spatula and make it nice and even. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. And then we're gonna take just a little over half of our cinnamon sugar, and I'm gonna put that right on top. I'm getting so excited. Like, I used to do this with my mom, and I loved this part where we did the cinnamon sugar. You could smell it. And then you're just gonna go in and you just sort of stab it like this. And you really can't do this part wrong, but this is just gonna help get like a little bit of a swirl. I love it. Okay, now we're gonna finish off with the second half of our batter. And then we'll finish with the rest of that cinnamon sugar. Make sure to scrape every last little bit. Oh, Mom. Aren't you so happy I'm making this, Mom? She watches these episodes. Okay, so this gorgeous beauty is gonna go in a preheated 350-degree oven for 45 to 50 minutes until it is cooked all the way through. Tilly! You wanna show people your face again? Was she in this episode? I don't even remember. Miss Tilly. Okay, let's show people how to tell when their bundt is ready to come out of the oven. This bundt here has a really nice sort of dark golden brown edge, and when you touch the top, it springs back to the touch. So in general, that's a great sign that anything with like a bready consistency is done. It's springing back to the touch. But if you wanna be a little bit more precise, what you can do is you can take a butter knife and you can stick it into the center of your loaf, and I just like shake it lightly. And then you wanna see if it comes out with any crumbs on it, and ours did not. That means it's done. It's okay if you have a few moist crumbs. You just don't wanna dip it in and then have it come out and have wet batter on your knife. I'm just gonna run my knife along the edges just to loosen up the top ever so slightly. Cool. We're gonna take a cake stand and then just have firm grip on the bottom there. You are just going to commit and flip it. Okay, ready? Commit, flip it. And then that's it. Because we did all of that work to prepare our pan by putting the butter and the flour on ahead of time, this should come off in a jiff. Ready for the big reveal, you guys? Look at it! Oh my God, it's beautiful. Yes! Okay, great. Let's cut into this bad boy. It's still like piping hot, but you know what? We're gonna just keep going. This smells like weeknights, like doing my homework while my mom made coffee cake, eating it with a glass of milk. This is like, I'm getting emotional. Okay, here we go. Yes! Oh my God, it looks so good, you guys. Wow, I am so stoked. I'll give that one to you guys, and I'm just gonna eat this with my hands, because that's what I used to do with this coffee cake. I would eat it with my hands. Okay, cheers, Mama. Love you. It's really, really hot, but it's so good. The sour cream provided such a nice moisture. The vanilla really adds a nice slight depth of warmth. The cinnamon throughout is just so good. And I love how you bite into the top, which we flipped and is now the bottom, and you get this crunchy little surprise on the bottom. This cake is like core memories for me, you guys. Okay, you guys know the drill. If you want the full recipe for this coffee cake, it is down below in the show description. Would be so grateful if you subscribe to the channel. And I think we gotta take this recipe out with a little bit of a Tilly dance. What do you think? Come on up, girl! Yeah! Bye, guys. I definitely have chocolate in my teeth. We are making banana bread cookies. I wish you guys could smell this kitchen right now. The banana flavor, it's not too subtle. You can tell right away that these are banana bread cookies. You're so great. I hope someone's told you that before because you are. Tilly dance, we're doing a Tilly dance.